Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And before saying anything else, I myself want to extend congratulations to the West Indies team, the men's team and the women's team for making us all so proud and happy on this particular Monday morning. And today we are going to speak about two particular stocks and have a look at what the implications are with regard to the performance of these stocks in 2015 and what we can expect in the market overall. First of all, Ansa McAL. Ansa McAL has performed quite well in the 2015 period. For the year ended, it was up some 48 cents, up to $4.45 earnings per share. And that's a 12% odd increase in the performance of the company. If we take a quick look at what has happened to the key revenue segments, which I will talk about a little more later, what you would see is that its major segments, manufacturing, packaging, and brewing, as well as automotive trading and distribution, are both up in the 2015 year by 1.54% and by 1.68%, as you would see the yellow line representing 2015 and the blue line representing 2014. And one of the key segments that is a marker that we look at to reflect the economy would be car sales. And when we look at our next graph, what we are seeing is that car sales have been falling in the 6-month period, September to February, 2015 ended versus 2016 ended. And that green line tells you car sales from September 2015 to February 2016. And as you can see, generally it is below that of the previous corresponding period in 2014 to 2015. Says something, yet still good resilience in terms of the performance of McAL, Ansa McAL. At the current price of $63, Ansa McAL is trading at a PE multiple of 14.1 times. Below the average, its normal average, it's a 5-year average of 16.3. We consider some of the issues, particularly access to currency, a weakening economy, deterioration in terms of car sales, as important indicators of what may happen to corporate earnings. And so we have a view and a rating of neutral for Ansa McAL for going into the 2016 year. Moving on now, what's happening with another producer, retail and distribution, personal goods and services, or personal goods, and that is Unilever Caribbean. Let's look at what's happening with Unilever Caribbean. While McAL was up, Unilever Caribbean was actually down quite significantly. And what you would see, if we move to later graphs, what you would see is that Unilever Caribbean fell in terms of its earnings per share for 2015 from $2.52 down by 82 cents to $1.70. Sales issues, cost of sales was reasonable, but sales issues was one of the major areas as the sales fell and earnings as well fell. The multiples for Unilever are extremely high at 38 times without the growth that should reflect at 38 times earnings. At its current price of $66, we hold a sell recommendation for the stock as we move to the last graph on our settings. What does it all portend? It portends that essentially these companies that have a high import bill for its materials, as well as reflects currency, one, and two, the fact that the economy is weakening does not portend well for some of these companies. We hold a sell recommendation now for Unilever, which is trading, as I said, at far higher multiples than what you can find across the board in that manufacturing sector. Look for us in the daily newspapers where you will get more details, but also go to our website, bourseinvestment.com, where you get far more details about these particular investments and the Bourse outlook. One of the key things that is scheduled to happen this week really is the pronouncements of the mid-year budget review by the Honorable Minister of Finance. Key issues that have to be addressed would be how to finance the increasing gap in terms of our budgets. We expect revenues to be lower than anticipated at the beginning of the year, expenses to be reasonably the same, and therefore the financing gap, which was supposed to be 1.7% of GDP, is going to increase as GDP falls, as well as revenues fall away. Let's see what will happen, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the program. Have yourself a wonderful investment week. This is Subhash Ramkilawan for the Bourse Report.